So I'm looking again at the local election results, and I'm starting to gain kind of a different picture of what's going on. And it's not wholly disheartening. And actually, I don't think these big gains in terms of council seats for Reform is going to be very good for Reform. Because they had just two councillors before this, and that has risen by 1,114. Labour are down 1,306, and they've gone to 919 councillors. Lib Dems at 734 are up 81. The Conservatives are down 496, and the Greens are up 334. So actually, the Greens have made really quite significant gains. They've gained over 300 councillors, which is a big movement in its own right. But of course, most noticeable are the reform gains, and they've been particularly successful in constituencies up north. And particularly noticeable also is the Labour losses and how unpopular Labour have become and how unpopular Keir Starmer has become, who of course ran his campaign in 2024 with change as the watchword of the campaign. And guess what? Nothing at ground level has changed whatsoever. So it's, like Pip is still as hard to get as ever, and that like would raise my living standards, for instance, significantly, since I'm living in quite an expensive area at the moment, and things are expensive, and I smoke, and I like to go to the pub a little bit when I can, and have a couple of beers and do stand-up comedy and things, and I want to be able to afford stuff like that and not have to worry about it. And the Labour government have acted exactly like the Tory government. The only thing they did to tax the rich was propose this really rather, I think, unfair inheritance tax on farmers. And farmers, rose up against it. And a lot of rural constituencies, I think, are voting reform for that reason. And the Greens have done really well in the cities. They've taken Hackney, for example. They've taken Norwich City Council. I believe they already had Brighton and Hove, and they had Bristol City Centre. Is that it? Don't they have a Green Mayor in Bristol or something? And they've taken Oxford as well, or they've come highest in Oxford. I think I saw that on Facebook also, and it's really interesting. And of course, we don't know the full picture yet. So, like, the results from Wales and Scotland are yet to come in, and those aren't due for a couple of days, I don't think. And I'm looking at the map, and it looks like most constituencies haven't declared yet, one way or another. So I don't know. Almost areas haven't, or local authority area, or whatever it's called. I don't know exactly the jargon, but yeah, I'm looking at it, and the Lib Dems have done well as well. They've increased their number of councillors reasonably by 81, and Conservative losses as well. I think that's encouraging. They're losing lots to Reform, so it's a big loss to Reform and to the Green Party on the part of the Labour Party's losses. A lot of Labour Party people would have gone over to the Green Party by now, and to Reform as well. I think some of them. So it's, and I think Reform are going to be given 3 years now to be victims of their own success and prove how incompetent they are in government. And that will be a good thing. And it will hopefully, shine light on the preposterousness of, of their campaign and their policies, and how hollow their ideology is, and how hate-filled it is, and how it really doesn't care about the lives of ordinary people on the ground, and it cares about the profits of large corporations and billionaires and so on, and investment bankers and whatnot, creating fluctuations in the economy to, like Brexit, to devalue the value of British stock so they can buy it cheap and sell it again when the economy recovers, and this nonsense that goes on. and I think people are starting to wake up from that and are moving towards the Green Party in record numbers, and the Greens are doing really well. So I'm happy, actually, with this, and it's not such a bad thing at all. And yeah, I'm very hopeful for the next election, because I think the Greens are going to continue arguing from a competent standpoint, from a competent evidence-based standpoint, and I think Reform are going to humiliate themselves again and again and again. So, and I don't think this is a good indicator of how a general election will turn out. I still don't think it is. I think the voter turnout of the next election will be far higher than in this one, since, I mean, lots of people didn't vote in this election, and lots of people don't vote in local council elections, and it's not really a good indicator of how given demographics vote, I think, when the vote is important. But yeah, I'll continue watching this and maybe give another update at some point. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Love you lots. Bye. See you soon.